Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is KarQ and welcome to the first remastered edition of my one tip series, kicking things off with Brigitte. I chose Brig first because I made the old video while she was still in the PTR, back when her kit was fully loaded. Her cooldowns, damage breakpoints, and healing numbers are all different now, but I wouldn't say she's as bad as people think. People have been dismissing her ever since the rework, and no one really tried to learn her new playstyle. That is, until Violet proved them all wrong.
Hello, my name is Violet. I'm a full-time top 500 Overwatch streamer that solo queued my way to rank 1, 2, and 3 on the ladder with Brigitta.
Let's start things off with a general tip first.
With the reworked Brig, her shield is now paper thin at 200 HP and her self-healing from Inspire is cut in half. This comes with the complete playstyle adjustment that many people haven't adapted to yet. And for the general tip, I'm going to emphasize the importance of shield dancing. This is the act of knowing when to take damage versus using your shield to block it to survive in situations you otherwise wouldn't. With this version of Brigitta, I find myself using corners, holding down my swings, and looking for whip shots rather than holding my shield up because any sort of poke damage risks breaking my shield. I try to shield dance and save my shield to block important enemy abilities rather than spam damage compared to your previous iteration.
So basically, you have to be decisive and calculated with your approach. So with that out of the way, let's get started.
Against Diva, your main goal now is to not demech, but to cancel missiles and potential team-wiping ults. A Diva could go for an ultimate combined with her boosters, however, you can bash the mech to cancel its momentum to stop it in its tracks, preventing a potential team wipe. Against Orisa, it's not optimal, but you can 1v1 her if you're patient with your abilities and shield dance, waiting out her fortify. This act requires your full shield at the start and has little room for error. One key thing to remember is that if you get sucked off by halt, server side, your shield will be pulled to the side for an instant. Keep this in mind, now revisit this in the Roadhog tip. With self-healing on Inspire being nerfed, Reinhardt can overpower you by just meleeing. Instead of dueling, look to block shatters and countercharge to save your team. If you bash from the side or behind, you can interrupt the ability without falling down. Roadhog is a common tank pair for Orisa, and here's a callback to Orisa's halt ability I mentioned earlier. If you have your shield up beforehand and get pulled by an Orisa, even though your shield is up on your perspective, what ends up happening is your character gets shifted slightly, then recovers in its animation. However, even though you spring back to the original position, something about the Orisa pull adjusts the hitbox of Brigitta holding your shield, which allows Roadhog to get a hook. My tip to counteract that, do not hold shield until your direction has changed. Against Sigma, be self-aware of your shield bash due to it being a major escape tool versus their gravitic flux. Shield bash jump to any one side and you'll have enough distance to get out of the effective radius. When being focused by a Winston in Primal Rage, you're not going to be able to burst down his 1000 HP. Maintain your Inspire passive with an occasional swing, but focus on using shield bash momentum jumps to confuse him and whip shot immediately to maintain space between you two until Primal's duration is over. The timing is a bit tough, but you can whip shot Wrecking Ball at the apex of his power drive to mess him up. Additionally, Wrecking Ball's mines proc Inspire passive. Without rally and depending on Zarya's charge, you can come out on top in a duel so long as you wait out bubbles. Do not make this a priority unless you can focus her down with rally, as your low self-heals and shields makes achieving this a steep slope. For Ashe, you can block her dynamite and coach gun with shield, effectively blocking the damage over time and the knockback effect. Against Bob, save whip shot to push him off points to prevent him from contesting, and remember that Bob procs Inspire for heals. Bastion is primarily used in pirate ship compositions where they sit on the payload. Use this to your advantage. Brigitta has minor self-sustain and peel for herself. This allows you to dance around the payload while dealing damage to build rally and contest progress. Watch this clip of mine. You can see I'm fully using the payload to protect me while occasionally going for swings to pressure and keep Inspire up, backing up when I need to, and then finally fully committing once my team and Sigma in this example is going in. Against Doomfist, countercharging is the best thing you can do to help your team. Not only does this negate his damage, but potentially could lead into a kill. Even if you don't collide head on like in this clip, you can see he's actually right here. Listen and react to Rocket Punch's audio cue and you can save yourself from dying. Additionally, with a full shield you can block Doomfist's Meteor Strike and follow up with a bash to secure a pick as long as you aren't at the closest possible range to it. Genjis have developed the habit to dash into the air prior to blading, even without being nanoed. This causes their next dash to be easily predicted. Shield bash and whipshot them to prevent them from getting a kill/dash reset. Remember that while swinging at his deflect, you don't deal damage or proc inspire, but shield bash will work. Hanzo only has one mobility move that doesn't get out of your range from your flail. Close quarters are your best way of comboing them to death with shield bash and whipshot. Against Junkrat, Riptire can be blocked by Brigitte's shield so long as you are directly aiming at it. His trap and mines don't proc inspire healing, but for some reason Riptire does. Don't try to bash the tire because the stun doesn't work, but you can definitely try to whipshot it from a distance to both deal damage and proc inspire. McCree's high rate of fire is a shield shredder. Unlike Rein's shield, Brigitte's shield isn't wide enough to consistently block flashbang. Your best bet is to play corners and use shield bash as they're throwing out flashbang so that even though he stuns you, you can stun him and you can recover before he's able to get 2 headshots off. Believe it or not, Brigitte can duel a main without being frozen as long as you're correctly shield dancing versus their freeze spray. Understand the situation and you can whipshot her out of freeze range. Use shield bash whipshot combo to force ice block or escape if you're low. Pharah is not your job to deal with. Once in a while you may get lucky and cancel a barrage with shield bash, but don't count on doing anything other than hiding using the environment. Your goal is to stay alive and give your team heals. If Pharah is focusing you, that means it's a 5v6 and you focus their team harder. Reaper can 2-shot your shield and 1-shot you, depending on the range. Focus on hitting whipshot and only use shield bash to cancel ults, secure a kill, or to escape with momentum. While you win the close range fight with shield dancing, good soldiers won't close the distance for you. Soldiers should not be your priority, but keep an eye out for an opportunity based on their positioning or if you get rally. Against Sombra, do your best to reactively turn with your shield up whenever you hear her fingers dancing for a hack. Unless you can lead with a melee into shield bash to combo Symmetra herself, don't let her get free ult charge from you being aggressive. Keep your distance if she's full beam charge. Note that her turrets do not proc inspire. Papa as a whole can just melt you, especially when comboed with a decent placed turret versus your 200 HP shield. Your shield bash does not cancel molten core and your armor takes more damage to it. Don't disrespect daddy, ooh. Tracer's pulse bomb sticks to your shield. When this happens, do not drop your shield. Doing so causes the pulse to stick to you instead if it's stuck in the center where your hand is. If it's anywhere else, you can drop and reshield, but it's going to require fast reflexes to recognize when it's safe. Your shield may break, but you take no damage when correctly done. Against Widow, she can break your shield in 2 shots. Similar to Hanzo, Widowmaker only has 1 mobility cooldown and you can cancel it with shield bash and secure a kill if close enough, but don't make it a priority. More often than not, she's playing way out of your effective range, so flash your shield if you're in the open, but try to get out of the line of sight. Against Ana, use your shield to bait out Sleep Dart and Biotic Nade before going all in. Repair Pack can only give armor when overhealing someone, so if your teammate is antied, you cannot give them armor. If fighting a Baptiste in the open, whipshot him out of his immortality field's radius, then close the distance with shield bash to commit for a kill. You should win 1v1s if you flash your shield to the rhythm of Baptiste's primary fire every so often, swing, and let the inspire passive heal you. Against Brig, never shield bash first. Brigitte mirrors entirely depend on hitting your cooldowns since your swings go through shields. Against Lucile, you can block his boop with your shield to prevent them creating space to red at you. If they boop you off a ledge, a 180 turn shield bash can save you. Additionally, Lucile's beat drop can not only be cancelled, but whipshot is such a fast ability now with rework that you can boop them out of LOS or off the map. Against Mercy, stand between her and their team to shield bash their guardian angel, preventing them from escaping while potentially securing a kill. Additionally, whipshot has enough boopage distance to cancel resurrects. Against Moira, cancelling coalescence with shield bash should always be a potential priority. If not, you have to do your best to keep your team alive by using Rally, comboed with repair packs and Inspire to out-heal the Coalescence damage. Zenyatta has the advantage at mid to long range due to your weak shields, and your only chance is using environmental cover to close the gap and mace to the face. Whenever he uses Transcendence, your shield bash doesn't stun, but he can still be booped with Whip Shot.
That's it for the tips here. Thanks for continually showing love for the series. I've heard your feedback, guys. Which video in the series should I remake next? Let me know in the comments.
Thanks for having me, KarQ. You can find me live at twitch.tv/Violet, while I'm striving to become an LGBT+ Twitch ambassador as well as represent Overwatch as a streamer for any organization. You can also follow me on Twitter at VioletTwitch.